the Jackson Transportation Service Center Manager at MDOT, Kelby Wallace. Hi, Kelby.
Good afternoon, Bart.
Good afternoon to you, and continued congratulations on the beautiful job. We are now, I think, appreciating all that work that's been going on for the last 3 or so years. What's done, and it's most of it, it looks great.
It's really coming along, you know, and I definitely have to give credit to my staff who's done the hard work, and the contractors out there. I kind of just get to come here and talk to you about it, so they do all the hard work.
Yeah, a big part was just wrapped up. I know there's a little more there still, but Elm Road, and that it's completely different.
Yeah, so since the last time I saw you, we've kind of finished all the concrete there, opened up the freeway to the new westbound pavement and the new ramp to the Elm Road exit, and we've got Seymour Road mostly open. We got a little more work to do there, but as you can see here on the screen, this is kind of a picture looking west, the Elm Road Bridge, and on your right is that new concrete pavement that cars are now driving on. And then there in the middle where you see the missing concrete, that's kind of the last piece that's got to go in there. We got to put that permanent concrete barrier that separates the two directions of traffic in there. And it's going to take a little time, we estimate, till around Labor Day. But in the meantime, we've got 2 lanes of traffic going in each direction, flowing smoothly out there. So we are kind of towards seeing the end of the tunnel on this project. And really, the first project was kind of near the Cooper Street interchange. If you count that one, we're going to be about 5 years.
Oh my gosh, it's been that long?
Yeah.
Well, it's paying off. I was talking to a CEO, a community CEO of a major employer in Jackson last week, and she said this project makes such a great statement and presents such a beautiful front door to the Jackson community. And it really is, it's not something, I think that is part of your planning while you do these kinds of projects, but what it ends up being is a great statement about Jackson.
I think that is absolutely great to hear. I think that was fully the intent when we knew we had a chance to rebuild this roadway that's going to be there for bridges for 75 years, the road for 30 to 40, and we got together with the city of Jackson, Jackson County, Blackman Township, and other governmental agencies in the area, and really tried to make sure we gave a nice identity to the community. And that's where you see some of the aesthetic treatments on the bridges with the decorative brick, the Jackson sign, the lighting, and things like that, to kind of spend a little extra money at each one of those locations, knowing that they're going to be there for 75 years and make sure they look nice.
It really has a wow factor, and particularly the stretch between I would say West Ave and Cooper, where you have at one point 8 lanes across east and west, plus the lighting and all brand new concrete. I mean, it really does. People they're saying wow when they hit that part of the highway.
Yes. It's very,
yeah.
I'm very glad to hear that. That's really, really nice, because it's like you said, it's been 5 years of construction that we're kind of coming to the close, and a couple years of planning before that on our end with our partners. So
we have some photos and some video that we'll take a look at. The interchange at Elm Road and the car dealers and all those nearby. They've been very patient, but now it looks great.
Yeah, so here's a picture, you kind of looking east, and there are the car dealers in the background of the new bridge. Again, here the concrete pavement on the left side. There is not being used yet. That's the westbound pavement, but right now it is. This video was taken about a week and a half ago, but that's kind of what it looked like right before we opened it to traffic. Again, we've kind of got a few things to do down there to wrap it up, but we really expect to kind of be wrapping it up a little bit after Labor Day. Nice.
We've also got, now this is, I think, west of Jackson.
Yeah, so this is kind of west of Jackson, and just I'm trying to show here, it's a real tight area down there, trying to maintain 2 lanes of traffic. So over there on the very far left, we've got the 2 lanes of eastbound that are kind of facing us. There's that blue semi. And then during the week, we just have one lane going westbound. And then on the right side of the screen is all contractors' work area. And we kind of separate them behind that barrier wall to protect the workers, to protect motorists, and to allow them to get some work done. And here I thought this was a really great picture, just showing you how many pieces of equipment it takes to kind of do that paving there. We've got 2 pavers, there's about 6 to 8 trucks, there's a couple of our inspection trucks, there's a couple contractor trucks, there's some gravel truck there on the left, and I think I counted like 20. You got a couple excavators way up in the top, and and that's why we kind of tried to separate that work area, because it is a lot going on and dangerous for motorists and workers.
And plan ahead, if you're heading west on 94 as to what your exit's going to be, because there are a couple of exits that are just not open.
Correct. And this is one of those exits. This is the Elm Road Interchange. We've got a lot more work done out there now. We've actually did some paving out there yesterday, and we're getting close to opening that up. I don't know if it's going to make it by this Friday or next week, but the Elm Road ramps, we've kind of totally rebuilt them. And like I said, started doing the final coats of asphalt yesterday, but we have to kind of wait and take some testing and to make sure it's going to meet our specs before we put the final layers on it. And I'm not sure that we're going to make it by this Friday, which was kind of would have been a nice goal, but it will be shortly after the holiday when that opens back up. The Michigan Avenue ramp will open up this before the holiday weekend, the exit ramp at Michigan Avenue.
Now here's a really cool surprise, and I think it's a surprise to most people, but it's been part of the plan, and that is a pedestrian tunnel linking Jackson Crossing area and the hotels.
Yeah, so if you kind of look at the screen, towards your right would be south down towards Jackson Crossing and the BP station, and then on your left is one of the new hotels up in that top corner. So this sidewalk kind of goes under I-94, which would be just on your right of your screen, and then comes up here, goes underneath that ramp, which is a ramp that doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. So, you have high-speed vehicles, and that's why we ended up putting in the pedestrian tunnel there so that people could safely walk under that ramp and not have to dodge traffic. And then they kind of circle back and go up and end up getting on toward Bonsteel, which is near the, I believe it's the Courtyard by Marriott, right in that area. North of 94. So, and I think I've said before, but prior to the project, there was a pathway worn between those 2 points that we would, witness people walking all the time. And so, as part of the project, we wanted to make some safe accommodations for folks who want to walk that age.
Yeah, I've seen people cross 127 to try to get to Red Lobster.
Correct.
From the hotels, and this is a much safer alternative. So what a great, I think a bonus and a surprise to a lot of people that's there. Yeah. All right, we've got the railroad bridges downtown. Those replacements, it's going to happen pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah, so right now, I think last time we were targeting kind of the first week of August. Right now we're looking at the second week of August for the actual time where the tracks are completely shut down, and we move in the bridges for both Mechanic Street and Jackson Street in a 5-day period and rebuild the tracks over top of them and open it back up. So we're still reasonably on track there. Around the second week of August is what we're looking at doing. That, and I'm sure I'll have a firmer date when maybe I come next time if you decide to have me back. We do have a big milestone though coming up where we're going to finish Blackstone. There's a railroad crossing and what we call an at-grade, where you actually kind of drive over the tracks. An at-grade crossing is going to open up either tomorrow or Friday, but then that would lead to the next phase of the project where we have to close Jackson Street again to prepare for that bridge move in August. So we kind of open one street up to provide the circulation kind of in the around the downtown to the downtown area, but then we end up having to move the next phase and shut down Jackson Street to vehicular traffic under the tracks. So that's going to happen between later today, tomorrow, and Friday.
And Mechanic, that'll stay closed until it's done.
Correct. Yep.
And Detroit, and I think there's one other street over there.
I think it's Van Buren. Yeah. Is that little side street that runs parallel.
So once the new bridges get placed, then there's more work that needs to be done after that. So we've got, what, how many more months?
Yeah, so we're targeting that like the second week of August. So we've got about 2 months of work after that to kind of finish the track work on top. And then we want to finish the road work underneath. So the roadways are kind of finished with new curb and gutter, sidewalk and whatnot along Mechanic Street and Jackson Street before we kind of walk away towards, early November is the schedule and date right now for this year.
Well, it's amazing how you can transition from closed to open. You've got all the markings you have to do. There's signage, and it's with all the and one thing too, work zone safety. It's a huge issue. In fact, just this morning in the Free Press, there's a story about a speeding driver in a construction zone killed because he was going 75 miles an hour in a construction zone and drove into a bulldozer. And last year, I understand 16 people in Michigan were killed in construction zone crashes.
So yeah, that one of those pictures that kind of highlighted how we designed our work zone on I-94 west of Jackson, because we knew that's kind of a rural area that people tend to go a little higher speeds, and so we designed it where we provided the contractor a safe work zone during the week. That does require taking down a lane. You do see some delays out there on westbound 94 during the week. I've kind of driven through them a couple times to see how long it takes. And when I did it last week, the backup started near West Avenue, headed westbound. By the time I got to where I was moving kind of a free flow, it was 9 minutes. So I mean, people have to understand that sometimes it's worth a 9 minute of delay. Minutes. To provide a safe work area for workers and for motorists who are maybe driving next to people who aren't driving how they're supposed to. So we understand that the delay is not a fun or a good thing to people, but we do have reasons why we kind of design things the way we do for safety.
Yeah, and you can see in one of those pictures, I think it was the one with all the umbrellas over the cat machines, how many workers are right there, right along the highway, and it's right there. So now, when they're all done with the project, there's some finishing touches, landscaping and stuff. And I noticed at Cooper Street, there's a lot of asphalt that must have fallen off trucks as they were making deliveries from the asphalt plant. Does that just normally wash away? Are they going to come scrape that up?
That is a great observation. So that's been a big topic in our office the past week or two, because the asphalt plant is just off Cooper, and our project has been paving on 127 on West Ave there, right near Parnell and Springport. And there is a very obvious trail from there back to the asphalt plant. And so we first had the contractor change some of their tar that they're using, so it doesn't stick and then fall off the wheels as they head back to their plant. And just this morning at 4 a.m., we had the contractor out there doing some corrective work to try to scrape off some of those tar on the concrete pavement to make sure it's safe and serviceable out there. So that's something that definitely has been something we've been working through, and we've been trying to fix that. So yeah, it's something that those kind of unintended consequences when you've kind of got so much going on, and then all of a sudden you start realizing you have a problem and need to address the problem. It takes a few steps to figure out how to fix it, but
I figured you were irritated by that. I mean, it's beautiful, and then that's like sloppy. It looks like sloppy something. Somebody got sloppy, and it just wasn't very considerate. So hopefully they're going to take care of that. Well, great to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, safe, happy 4th to you and everyone on your team.
Appreciate it, thanks.
All right, the Jackson TSC manager for Michigan Department of Transportation, Kelby Wallace.